So now, hold on. Hi, everybody. It's me. Do you know who I am?
I do.
You do? Hi. This is Spooky Tinseltown 3. And we're on Facebook and Smile Time. So join us because I have Joe Mo here with me. So Joe Mo, and he's going to say hello.
Hello. How do I now tell me how I get over to have everybody that I know come and visit us?
All right. So I'm going to open up my Facebook.
All right.
So I was on putting my face on and on my Facebook open.
How we let you behind the scenes to see how the technology works.
Okay. So now if you refresh your screen, you can see it on the Facebook.
I'm refreshalizing now.
Refreshalizing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now I'm on your page, and I'm looking. You are. There's us.
There's us. So you just click on share, and then you click on don't share now public. Share. Oh yeah, you could share now public because that would go to your Facebook page.
I'm going to put it on me.
Share
on your own time.
On your own Jomo, and then you could share to like a group or friends timeline. I'm going to share it into my backstage with Ms. Meliz group for everybody who's ever been on Tinseltown before. They're in that special group. I think you're in that group too. So now we're just
shared.
Huh?
Shared.
It says Jomo shared your video, so I could go and see it on your page. There we are. Loving it.
Trust me, you thought I was kidding, huh?
What? Yeah.
But I didn't share it with the ether. I just shared it out into the open space.
Say you've come
Welcome to my parlor. I'm so happy to see you again. 3 years running, and what? 20 years before that, we've known each other.
Yeah, I think we figured it was more than that. Did you come to my wedding?
I didn't. I was there in spirit because I had these old pictures of your parents' wedding that I held and gave them back finally.
That's right, you did. You helped me with my wedding. So you knew me when I got married, and it'll be 25 years in April.
25 happy years.
That means we've known each other longer than that because you knew when Lido and I were just only dating.
We were teenagers.
Yeah, we were kind of early.
Well, thanks for having me on your show. You know, Halloween is my favorite time of year. That's why I try to keep it going 365 days of that year. And this is my witching month. So
yeah,
this is our tradition, visiting with you.
Yes, and I just love getting dressed up. And my new Halloween tradition now is hanging out with you, Jomo. We had so much fun the last few years. Last year we hung out with Meredith and we did spooky stories, and you showed us around the auction house.
That's right. I remember that.
And that was really neat. And the year before that, we talked about the history of horror in classic films and how it kind of got started. And I was really dressed up for that one. I
remember you were done. You had a professional makeup person.
I did. This, as you can see, is
a frying pan like I do. You didn't just use a frying pan like I do.
You don't need any makeup. You look awesome just the way you are, especially right now because I'll have glasses on. Fantastic.
Well, leave them off. I get better and better. A couple of beers and leave those glasses off. Watch them.
All right. I don't know what. For some reason, this hair makes me want to go, ooh.
Do it.
With the shoulder, too. I don't know where that came from. I love getting dressed up for Halloween and for any time, especially, for parties and things. But this time of year, I like to get dressed up. But you live this kind of lifestyle throughout the whole year because your job is about writing about these things. Tell me more about what is your do.
Well, I think I've said this, and all of my friends out there in Friendland will know that I have a great passion instilled in me by my parents and by the magic of horror and genre movies, which include sci-fi and fantasy movies, and then ultimately by my mentor, who was the mentor to many, Forrest J. Ackerman. And Forrest believed that if you encouraged other people to to find a love in this cool stuff, and if you encourage their creativity and sense of wonder, ultimately they would contribute and make stuff, and that would mean that he got to look at more cool stuff. So I'm a firm believer in that. Despite my personal ambitions and the things I may want to accomplish, there's nothing I like more than introducing a new generation to the old generation of monster lovers and encouraging the new generation to throw their bats in the ring and to make movies and write graphic novels and write stories and get in the group of people and collaborate and, you know, make cool stuff.
And
that's my aim in life.
Make cool stuff. How do you do that, though? How do you get people encouraged to make their own creative stuff when there's so much good stuff that we celebrate all the time?
Well, you know, there's nothing more potent and powerful than the imagination. And, you know, we encourage each other to think of what if. What would I do? What if this happened? What if that happened? What if this person met that person? You know, we live in a world where, you know, we're only confined by the depth of our imagination and creativity. So if you just encourage people to maintain their youthful interest in things that are off the beaten path and in things that titillate and scare and instruct, if you encourage everybody to participate in creating things, whether it's short stories or a play or getting together with a bunch of friends and having a murder mystery dinner, encourage people to do that. It tends to keep people really engaged with each other. It tends to keep people in their head imagining all kinds of solutions to problems. There's really nothing that it doesn't affect in a positive way. And a lot of people might have a problem with horror movies at times. They say, oh, well, they're scary and they're gory. But you know what? It's really the last morality tale in our culture. I mean, scary movies teach you, you know, about victimizing people and making them into monsters. It teaches you about playing God and what the consequences of that are if you create a monster. It teaches you how not to be a victim. They're really actually instructional, you know, documents.
Yeah. Don't, you know, I have really honestly haven't seen a lot, but I know about pop culture. And what is it they say is like, you know, don't be the last one out of the car, or don't be you know, whatever it is. Don't be
the first one in the shower. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. So what I'm curious about is what is your favorite modern horror film, or, you know, what is a recent film that you thought, yeah, they got that right?
Recent films.
You know, the last 10 years.
You know, a lot of my younger friends who are hardcore fans might disagree with me. There's a whole slew of films that resonate with me because their context is in things that came before, like House of the Devil and It Follows, and all of these movies that are made by young people who weren't even alive maybe in the 80s, but that have such a love for that style, that retro thing. And so to me, it feels like I'm in a time machine revisiting some of those things. So I tend to like them more than maybe somebody that's 25 or even 30 might like, you know, those shows. But those kinds of things I think are really crafty and really, really interesting. And also, I love the James Wan canon of things. I think that he's incredibly gifted at taking old tropes and gags and repurposing them in a fresh way that is not so much derivative and stolen, but is repurposing them so it's like revisiting an old friend. I love that. You know?
Because I don't know who that is. Maybe I do.
Well, you know, James Wan is responsible for like the Saw, you know, some of the Saw franchise, and also for the new slew of series franchises like, you know, I hope I don't get any wrong, but I think Insidious and Conjuring, you know, he has his fingers in a lot of pies, but everything he does is really fresh. And also I really like his ensemble, you know, and of course Blumhouse has something to do with this too. They get a lot of credit, but I really love the ensemble feeling. They really do approximate this family of people that they trust to turn out things that are going to be viable and innovative, scary, and also rooted in our horror history. So I really appreciate that.
Well, flipping to another genre, I guess, is what do you think of the resurgence over the last decade of zombies and, all the Walking Dead stuff? Do you have part in that at all?
I love zombies. I grew up in the age, of a lot of those kinds of paranoid, zombie. Romero was in his prime then, and zombies have always, made their way through the culture. But I'm not surprised in this culture of all of us kind of knowing so much and being so familiar with each other, and this feeling of really having so much contact with people, though it's really an illusion. But I mean, if you think about the zombie mythos and vampires and even possession, and all of these things are about one of the scariest things in our culture, and that's a loss of self or loss of somebody you love, somebody who you're intimately close with, your mom, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, somebody that changing into somebody that no longer recognizes you, that isn't that person anymore, or you're losing yourself to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very visceral and it's a very deep fear. When you watch The Exorcist, you may think, oh my God, if that was my daughter or my sister or that little girl, I like kids, if that happened to her, and then you think, do I want to close my eyes? What if something comes into me and takes away my personality? So I mean, it's a very, very, it makes sense to me that zombies are still and even more potent in our culture. But I think that's a formula, and that's an element of horror that has always been very, very effective.
You're so deep.
No, I've just watched all this stuff a long time. Learned so much listening to people making stuff and listening to people watching stuff, and
yeah,
good to know. If you like scary stuff, it's good to know as much as you can about how to make it.
Right. No, that's fantastic. So let's see, let's talk about the Mad Monster culture.
I'm glad you called it a culture. The Mad Monster has so many tendrils, like Cthulhu, in so many different areas. But Mad Monster was a brainchild of Barlow, Eben Magar Barlow, who sought me out and was kind enough to make me a brother in the pursuit of this incredible complex, I like to call it. It started out as a magazine, but it was so much more than that, because Eben is so visionary about horror. He has one foot in the past and loves the retro stuff, and he has one foot in the future, thinking about things nobody's even bothered to do yet. But attached to all of that is incredible creativity and genius in as an artist and a person that can articulate all the things that we all find so much fun and scary fun into merchandise, into events, into all kinds of things. And we just sort of have this incredible playground where let's make a magazine. Well, it's a great magazine, but wouldn't it be nice if we had a show? Let's make a show. This is a great show. Let's make another one. Let's have a radio station. It just keeps, growing, and it keeps expanding into very, sensible areas, where people want to play. And, Mad Monster is my passion project. It is the thing that I love the most. It's the thing closest to Corey Ackerman that I've been able to get, in making a clubhouse where people can come around and we can encourage them to participate and to find a love for the stuff that we love and to keep it going.
Well, so where is the last, I guess it would be the party or the event that you went to for that? Where was it?
We do 2 shows, and who knows, we've done many. We've done in the past 6 years, we've probably done 13 or 14 shows. We have done shows in Seattle, Chicago, in New Orleans, in Charlotte, North Carolina, and our 2 flagship shows are now the Carolina show, which is in Rock Hill, Carolina, and the Phoenix show which is at the Wecopa Indian Casino, which is a blast, because you find a place where they want you and they appreciate you, and they know your people are really cool people and are going to spend money having fun, and you find a home. And that's happened for us in Phoenix, and we're hoping that will happen at the new venue, Rock Hill, Carolina, South Carolina. But you know, our fans are our family. You know, we all like the same stuff. And
okay, so if I'm new to this whole culture and I want to go to the show, what do I have to do?
All you have to do is go to our website, www.madmonster.com, click on any of the locations or the events that we have, and we have many. We do screenings at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in the heart of Hollywood. So we're attached to that history, and we do shows, live shows, and we do you know, broadcasts and special events. But if you click on any one of those events, you can travel to the web page for that single event, and you can find out where you want to stay. What's that?
What is the website again, please?
www.madmonster.com.
Mad Monster.
And it'll tell you everything you need to know to come and join us for a day, for a weekend. You know, travel with us to the south, and then come back to the west, to the desert, and you will definitely, you know, I'm supposed to sell it because I'm one of the promoters of the show, and I love it, and it's part, you know, it's part of my blood. But all you got to do is go to one of our web pages or Facebook pages and talk to people that come, and they're all the testimonials we need. Everybody understands why our show is different, and how much we value them, and you know, love playing with them, and that we're loyal to them. So
that's so cool. So I just popped up a picture from one of your events, and that's, tell me about that one.
That's my pal Bill Mosley.
I got his Facebook page, by the way. Hope it's okay.
Yes, everybody should be on his Facebook page. Bill is an incredibly gifted actor with an incredible long legacy of appearances in the kinds of movies that I like best, as well as other types. But he was, you know, Chop Top, the guy in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Texas Chainsaw was it 2, reboot, or at any rate, you'd remember Bill because he had that hanger and he kept scratching his metal plate, and it was disgusting. And as soon as we're done talking, I'm going to watch it again because it's really cool. But Bill is an incredible fan as well as an artist. Bill, I had the pleasure of working with Bill on a film in Iowa called. It was one of the Maniacs films from the, you know, Herschel Gordon Lewis canon of films, but it was a small, you know, independent film. But Bill was game, and getting to walk with Bill and my bestie, you know, Ogre, who's a terrific horror lover and a terrific artist himself, getting to walk with Ogre and Bill to the Starbucks that was located in the Bass Pro Shop, which had nothing but guns and animal heads and a huge aquarium, and eating our oatmeal, drinking our coffee, and talking about classic monsters was one of my favorite times of my life. And I got to know Bill and his genuine love for the genre and his incredible knowledge of it on that trip. And we've been pals ever since. And he comes and does our show. And in our show is one of the specialties, aside from it being very, very fan-oriented, fans first, we always say, is these photo ops we do where we actually ask the actors to get in their makeup, oftentimes by the makeup artists who originally did it, and pose on a green screen with the fans for a fee, which we try to keep as reasonable as possible. And it's the closest thing I can think of to getting in a time machine and going back on the set, you know, and reliving these memories that are so precious to all of us, and you know, have caused so many nightmares. And Bill's a really good sport, and in that picture he's wearing his screen-used costume as well as, you know, a makeup that our friend Nora, who was the winner in on Face Off a couple seasons ago, applied. I think Tom Savini sent the appliances, the original makeup artist. So yeah, we're all a big family community, and we try to make as many memories as we can together.
It's so cool. Okay, I'll put up another one. This is also him, and then
Carolyn Monroe and Bill, you know, one of the original leather faces, and that's Nubbins. My friend Jason Guy, who's a collector, bought Nubbins, the actual screen-used puppet that was used in the film. So this is sort of a recreation of the film's movie poster. And there's me in the position that any fan that wanted to pay the reasonable, you know, I think reasonable for all the effort that goes into it, fee, come and pose, and you get a hard copy. If you want to go take it and have the actors sign it afterwards, you can. Now, you know, everything costs a little, but we we try to keep our costs down by not taking a cut of the photo op. You know, any amount that we can chop off the necessary, you know, costs so that as many fans as possible can experience it, we try to do. So.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so this one's exciting. This one's exciting for me. That must have been very special.
Michelle Nichols, yeah, a gracious, graceful woman. I've had the pleasure of being in the room with her on a number of occasions, and
I see now that's a green screen, right?
Yeah, there's a green screen, and Evan and the creative team.
Like a set.
Yeah, they come up with terrific green screens that are themed to each guest, and I mean, this is the only thing I do. I mean, I'm working pretty hard because, you know, the floor is big and it's pretty hectic, but I make time. I make sure to go. This is my favorite, my personal favorite thing. I've never been a picture taker. That's just not my thing, and I've never been an autograph seeker. But this experience of going back in time and sitting on set with these heroes,
yeah,
freaking great.
Do it. You have to, and it's nice, and then I get to ooh and ah over it.
Yeah,
all right,
come and do it.
One of your favorite characters. That was me from our first show.
I remember that. Look at that.
So much fun. That's the work of Valerie Schrader, who's my hairstylist. That's my own hair in that picture that she styled, and the makeup. And it was, I had a whole other voice. It was so much fun.
Punch the jewels. Did you bedazzle your forehead with a?
No, it's glued on. It was really fun. Yeah. Boy, my boa. That was a lot of fun. That was so much fun. Okay. Well, Joe, I'm going to put you back here because you're just, I love these stories. So tell me about some of the things that you have in your background there. I see the creature from the...
Oh, you know, I just put out some props. That's a creature from the Black Lagoon prop that was pulled from the original mold. An effects artist named John Dial gave that to me for my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
He painted it and put some eyes in it. I love this poster behind. It's a 3-sheet Moby Dick poster. You can't really see it, but I got that from Ray Bradbury, who signed it for me and X'd out John Huston's name because he hated the director so much. So it's my copy of the poster with John Huston's name crossed out and Ray Bradbury's beautiful signature under it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. I have my books, my Ray Bradbury books are signed and personalized because I think I told you this in years past, my parents met him at the Reader's Theater in their Beaumont library where they did volunteer work, and he would come and they bought the books from him and had him sign them. I never met him myself though, but I coulda. I know. I'm not like as much in the culture. So I wanted to introduce you to my friend Cindy. She's my bestie. You mentioned your BFF. This is my BFF, Cindy. And I don't know if she wants to come in. I'll invite her just in case. And we just got back from Nashville and Memphis. We went to see Graceland. And
spooky.
Really scary. Yeah, we went to BB King's and Beale Street and just had a blast, and went to a wedding. She's okay. She's there. Yay. So let's wait for her camera to come on, and then maybe I'll put her in, and if she might have a question or two. This is her first time meeting you. So
wow.
This is so exciting. So Cindy lives in New Hampshire, Joe, and Cindy's the one who's gotten me to really get creative this year. She discovered me on Blab, which was my hangout until it stopped working. And yeah, it's over. And what?
Good exit. When it stopped working, out.
I'm out. I'm not. That's right. It's not going to happen. Okay, so for some reason she went away. I might have to invite her a second time.
Do I intimidate you, Cindy? Come back. Come in.
She's trying. She said she's trying. Oh, I'm inviting you again.
She's not going anywhere. Foreseeable future.
So she is pretty a remarkable art teacher. She teaches. There she is. Okay, gotta bring you in over here. There's Cindy.
Cindy.
She's in her art studio.
Nice.
I'm not dressed up though. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
This is our
nice to meet you
too. And remember, Cindy sent me this. It's a little. Oh,
it's well, Cindy. You know, in the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about creativity as a teacher.
As a teacher, yeah, we've been doing a lot of fun, and we're going to make some Halloween things this weekend, but I think that she'd love to hear about your stuff.
Crafting is important.
Crafting.
It's my daughter went to the State College here for theater. So she was really into makeup, and she made up herself like she looked like she was in a car accident, and she posted it on Facebook, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Because she really goes out for that gore. And I was telling my
opening episode of I was in the season opener of Walking Dead.
Right, there you go.
Right. She dressed up like that on the ground, and as the little trick-or-treaters came up, she would crawl slowly towards them, all gross, scared the bejesus out of them.
Excellent. Monsters. Monster larva. Get the monster larva.
Oh, monster larva. We really get into Halloween, and we have the kids will not come down the driveway. My oldest daughter has to chase after them to give them candy because the parents love it and the kids want nothing to do with our house.
Oh, gosh.
That's excellent. That'll train them.
That's scary. So what's your favorite horror film, Cindy? Do you like to watch scary movies or classics?
Not in, I like ones that like Young Frankenstein or the Littlest Vampire, or stuff that's kind of fluffy. It's horror, but it's fluffy. It's not like The Pit and the Pendulum or something, which I have seen all the Vincent Price movies. The House on the Haunted Hill or something like that. There was one of those. Anyways.
You're a tender horror lover.
Tender.
Cindy, you should watch some of the classics. Watch Bride of Frankenstein. And for newer films, you should watch What We Do in the Shadows, which is a comedy horror film. And you can also watch you know what? I say that you watch Let the Right One In. Not the American version, the original version. Those three, zero sign.
Okay. Two. Can I watch two? Do you have?
You should watch, which is all and other things related to the true story of that haunting. So that there's your assignment.
All right. Well, we'll have to watch those. Talk again.
All of my friends who have heard that, if I misspoke and said the wrong name or whatever, I know you'll correct me. You'll never forget it. You'll revoke my horror card. So I'm just winging it here. So I'm asking you to be very gentle.
Gentle, be gentle.
And you know, for horror films, gentle means enacts rather than.
Okay, that's scary. I don't know if I've seen this side of you, Joe. You're a little punchy tonight.
It's Halloween. It's spooky. We're talking about spooky stuff.
So tell us what you're doing this weekend, can you?
This weekend, I'm going up to a convention that's being held by Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. I contribute to that. That was Forey's alma mater, his old magazine, and the History Channel. And it's called Alien Con.
Alien.
And basically, I'm going for a few reasons. I'm going to moderate panels with Tom Skerritt for Alien, the Alien panel. I'm moderating a panel with Dee Wallace, my pal. She's done a lot of our shows. She's one of the most amazing people you'll meet on ET. It's Friday. Saturday, I'm doing the Forrest J. Ackerman 100th birthday, the 40 Centennial panel with some friends, and then Sunday I'm moderating the Aliens panel with class members, and I'm moderating the Firefly panel. And you can go to Alien Con, you can just Google it and go to Alien Con and you can see their whole schedule. But that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Seen a lot of Firefly, and what was the one before that you just said? I already forgot.
Alien.
Oh, I was gonna say the Alien. What's the first one? Is Alien.
Alien. Really
that was on TV like a weekend or two ago, and watched that, and that is so intense. It was really good. It was really good. Oh, we have a guest here, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Are you a Joe Mo fan or Ms. Meliz fan? Or Cindy Harrison fan? You're everybody's fan today. So if you have a question, we're your fan, Jessica. Don't let me scare you away. All right, so because I'm scary, I know. Here, I'm gonna put my other mask. Did you see this, Cindy?
I like that one. I got one for you.
Okay. Ooh, I really can't see when I've got that on. All right, Joe. Oh, there. That's great.
That's kind of creepy.
Did you make that one?
No, my other BFF, Nancy, made it.
It makes me jealous when she has her other BFF, but they're also talented and nice because she's such a good person. It's not surprising she has so many friends.
Okay. I took out all my masks, so they're all over my living room, and we collect those from anywhere we find good masks. We collect them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what, Joe? Cindy makes costumes too, and she has a closet full of costumes, and she has a movie theater. It's in the basement. Yeah, it's downstairs. It's a really plush movie theater. It's so. I mean, I've seen it by way of virtual tour, but because I have never been to New Hampshire, but she did take me around with the phone and showed me, and it is something like our Hollywood friends have in their home, in their mansions, right there in her New Hampshire town of whatever, Manchester.
Merrimack.
Town of whatever.
Of whatever. I'm sorry. You know, I worked a full day today, and I was taking a nap when Joe called and said, "Can we get started?"
I'm sitting here making out with the creature and wearing my Halloween beads.
I know, he was making out with the creature.
I love Halloween beads, and I love the creature from the Black Lagoon. I spotted that. Even though I don't watch horror movies, I am not totally oblivious.
You watch horror movies. You really do. You need to watch horror movies. You just need to desensitize yourself a little bit to the parts you don't like, and then all of the other wonderful parts that are just underneath the veneer will come up, bite you on the butt, and you'll be sold.
I think I stopped watching them after I watched the Alien when it first came out, Friday the 13th, and Halloween. After that, I was done. I had children, and I no longer like to be scared to my wit's end. I just
those titles you just mentioned send all of the fans running towards horror, not away from horror.
Usually,
so I don't have a feeling you just have some fatal interior flaw that if you just give it another chance, it'll get removed. It'll be obliterated.
Now the kids are grown. We need to get back into that thrill-seeking, exciting, edge of our seat. Why not? I know I loved The Exorcist. I loved Damien. I loved my favorite was Burnt Offerings.
Really?
Yes, that's
why I pegged you as a haunting kind of.
Yes, Burnt Offerings, Amityville Horror. Those are The Shining, which I read and watched. Misery. You know, those kind of movies, and then of course the what's his name?
What's his name? Actor? Films?
You know who I'm talking about, right? The guy with the thing that does that other thing with the girl. Yeah.
We're getting into a different kind of movie now. That's a different kind of movie altogether from horror. But yeah.
Yes. I was going to say, the psychological drama is kind of what I've been into more in my adult stages. But now, you know, I also love Shaun of the Dead. I love things that are funny, and I love...
Shaun of the Dead is one you should watch. Cindy, watch Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead?
I watched, what was it, Dusk to Dawn?
That's different.
That's different.
It's different. But it was really different. And we weren't expecting what had happened. It was like, whoa.
Well, Shaun of the Dead is an amazing movie, and I like Lincoln Vampire, the Vampire Lincoln one. What's that one?
You ever
I
have
watched
my Slayer?
Yes, I love that movie. So
I like that.
yeah, I like this kind. And then, of course, I have seen Alien. I mean, I saw it in theater. I remember seeing that, and it was on recently. It was scary, but no, now I'm more a little bit about Ghostbusters and Poltergeist and stuff like that.
Ghosty. See, that's your milieu. That's what you like.
My milieu. I love that. Remember when we did the M words? Everything was M.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mum. You remember that? Mum. Anyway, so Alien Con, that's exciting.
It is. It should be fun. I'll see friends that I don't get to see very often, and I'm not a big Alien person, but I mean certainly the films. I love them, and maybe I will become a big Alien person. Who knows? My sister is all over it.
Oh, who's your sister? I've talked about your little brother. We've heard about your little brother, and I've seen pictures of him, but what about your sister?
My sister Jamie is an entrepreneur. She's really great, and she's my baby sister, one of two. My mom had 4, and then my dad had another 5 or 6 kids too. But Jamie is my youngest sister, and she's an entrepreneur that sells fashion and things like that, and just loves it. And she's carved out a niche for herself. But she loves spooky stuff. But she's into all of those history documentaries and stuff on Bigfoot and aliens and Loch Ness and ghosts. She loves the hauntings, but she won't watch movies about hauntings.
Yeah,
I'm with her.
You like the documentaries too?
I like any ghost hunting movies, ghost experiences, any kind of things like that. I will stay up and I will just just marathon them. I'll just marathon that. And the possession one, the guy with the goes and finds the possessions that are causing bad energy in homes.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Pawn Stars? Just kidding. That's repossession.
That's repossessions. You watched that one. Joe, where are you on that fine line? Or maybe it's a very definitive line. I'm not sure. But how do you stand on that the difference between this culture of horror and actual people feeling like their homes are haunted or possessed or, an unexplainable happenstance?
I don't think you can be a creative, imaginative person without allowing some possibility into your psyche about things like that. But I am a dyed-in-the-wool skeptic. I want to believe me, and I've had experiences we've talked about in the past that some people believe, but I need a lot of proof. I'm very, very anti-superstition. I love playing with it, and I love toying with superstition, and I love the byproducts of superstition, but I don't run my life by superstition. So I tend to be even though I'm a crazy, whimsical person, when it comes to, those kinds of things, I'm very practical. Show me a ghost, I want to see one. Show me an alien, I want to see one really badly. But you got to show me. I'm not just going to go out on a limb and say, oh, really?
There have been pictures lately. I always see them on Facebook. There's some picture that's been going around lately about a ghost, a child in the hallway of a hospital, and it's in this picture. And the first thing I always think is, well, the pictures, sometimes they're double exposed or whatever, there's so many explanations, but I just have a lot of faith, and I'm just really in the moment and stuff. But people can be very convincing when they start to believe something and they've experienced it, and but it's interesting. But I think, like you said, you put it right so clearly that if you're creative, your mind can go there very easily, and it all kind of adds to the interest of what you do as a profession. So hey, so have you been doing any more of your auction house stuff? Are you still doing the writing?
All the time. We're just putting a animation, a Disneyland, Disneyana, and animation auction, which is a lot of cells, which they used to make animated features and cartoons. A lot of Disneyana, for example, things like park costumes, walk around costumes, and park attraction cast member, people that operate the different things. I'm trying to think, like Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion, the suits they wear, the people that work in the venue, the
auction house place name called again?
Profiles in History.
Profiles in History.
Profilesinhistory.com. You can see our past auction flip books. You can hotly anticipate the one coming up, which if you are a Disney lover, you might want to get a catalog just to have it. It's pretty beautiful. It's very refined and full of some of the best of the best.
Okay, I put that link in there. That's exciting. Last year, it's been a whole year today, I think. We did our last Spooky Tinseltown Tales show, and we talked about. I put that link. And I really wanted to be there. I really wanted to do one, to call in. That was sound. You talked about how you can call in and that you do the bidding, but I just a fly on the wall. Have you ever been to an auction, Cindy? Auction house?
No, I have not, but they're really exciting. I watched them on TV. But they're exciting.
You probably saw my boss's show, Hollywood Treasures, maybe on Sci-Fi.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Joe Madalena is my boss and my pal, and he's been doing it a long time. He's really good at it. He's one of those people, you watch him work and you realize why he's successful. He's just knows how to, knows what people want. He knows, how to make a reasonable, estimate that will allow the most people to get a shot at it. And he's very passionate about it. So it's been really fun these past 6 years working with him and learning from him.
That's so cool. You do so many wonderful, exciting things. So have you acquired any new thing that you've been really wanting or that you've had your eye on this year?
Well, I'm not a collector in the sense of chasing things. Other than posters sometimes, because we say in the auction business, you're really selling memories. You're selling, if somebody wants a prop, it's because of the memory it holds for them.
Oh.
The experience from a movie they shared with their kids, or from something that scared them as a kid or delighted them or got them on a path, of their own path of creativity or love of stuff. So I mostly have a collection of things people have given to me, like The Creature, which, I got from, my friend John Deal, and my poster from Ray. And it's funny you ask, because I just, while I'm talking to you, I happen to have.
Ooh.
This is a skull that's supposed to represent the head of Forrest J. Ackerman. Was given to me by my good pal Michael Cathcart, who's a brother in monsters and a very talented animatronic sculptor and model maker, as well as a musician. And in fact, his mother is one of my favorite people ever, because when I was a little tot in the 60s, I would watch Lawrence Welk with my grandma, and there was this cute trio called the Lennon Sisters. And by golly, if my friend Michael's mom is not actually Peggy Lennon.
What?
There, you had a visit from the Ghost of Forey.
The Ghost of Forey was here.
Oh, so Michael gave me this. It was an animatronic figure that sat on a figure and actually did a whole talk, about Forey, who created the term sci-fi. And he would do the things that, I was driving around with my wife in the car and, listening to the hi-fi. And, since science fiction had been on the tip of my tongue for many years, I stuck out my tongue, looked in the rearview mirror, and there, tattooed on the end of it, was sci-fi. He gifted me this. It's a treasure that I love.
I did not know you had that stowed away there, and look at that. Maybe I am. Like it. I'm a little psycho. Wait, it's psycho. That's psychotic. Anyway, only on Halloween. So, well, that was fun. Joe, do you have any other little treasures down there you're ready to put up and scare?
I mean, I could. Did I show you my mask I made for
No.
Don Post?
No.
Horror. When I first came to Horrorwood, California. Hang on, I'll get it for you.
Okay. All right. So I will put me over here. Just say, hey, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on Halloween on my special spooky Tinseltown Tales Live with Jomo Part 3. Ooh. We're so excited to have you here and welcome you back. So I'm going to put Joe back in the middle so he can share with us his fun experiences and things.
Something I'd like to share. This ties not only into something that I feel was a great landmark in my life, but it ties into what I'm saying about young people finding, the maximum creativity in the horror, science fiction, fantasy genre, particularly horror. When I was a little kid, I dreamt of coming to Hollywood. My family was in show business, but it was Hawaiian entertainment. My dad loved movies, so I really, really wanted to join the legions of young hopefuls making movies. And part of that was through Forey Ackerman and Jim Warren's magazine, Famous Monsters, which I read religiously. My friends who I could find that loved monsters. And that magazine taught most of us, many bigger people than me, people named Spielberg, Tim Burton, Lucas.
I've heard of them.
All of them. Yeah, heard of them? It taught all of them, and little me included, that it was the filmmakers that made monsters. Because Forey turned the camera from the stars in front of the camera to the people behind the camera that actually made stuff. And so, armed with that knowledge and with a lot of hope, I just started, really practicing to be an artist, a makeup artist, I thought. And, that's what I wanted to do. And along the way, I started collecting masks because it was the quickest way to transform yourself into a monster. You could write to Captain Company, spend the money, order a mask. It would come in the mail and pull it over your head and you were transformed. And Don Post Studios was the premier mask maker at the time. And when I could finally afford my $34.99 Don Post mask, you can bet I cut that coupon very carefully, filled it out more legibly than I'd ever done any schoolwork. And I sent that into Captain Company and with a money order. First time I'd ever had to execute a money order. It's terrifying. And in the interim, I went on my first trip to Hollywood. It was a surprise for my dad. I was 14, so I went to Hollywood, got to see all the masks in the windows because there's nothing like that in Hawaii. Got to see all the masks in the windows and at Disneyland. I was so excited to get home and get mine. I got off the plane finally about a week later, came home, and the person who was house sitting said, "Oh, Joey, I'm so sorry." "Why?" "A box arrived and someone stole it." I said, "Oh, really?" And I went in my room and I'm not going to lie, I cried. I was heartbroken. I waited so long to get this. I didn't know what to do about it. Luckily, I didn't have to think too long because a day later, the mailman came to the house and said, "We found the box." I said, "You did?" "Yes, the contents are still there." And he handed it to me. It was an ugly Afghan my grandmother had knitted. It wasn't my package. So my package did arrive, and I got my first Don Post mask. It was the Phantom, the deluxe Phantom of the Opera, over your head mask with hair, hand painted by Don Post's incredible artists. I was in heaven. I put that mask on, got on my bicycle, and drove around in the 80-degree weather in June in Hawaii under the palm trees. The opera. I did. And, I started corresponding with Don Post. I loved it so much. I loved it so much, and it was such a relic to me. I actually wrote to Don Post, and I said, "Mr. Post," in the arrogant way kids do, "Mr. Post, there's no care instructions. How do I take care of this mask?" And he sent me back a whole list. And I thought, my Don Post is reaching down from the heavens and talking to me. This is incredible. And I think, he confided in me that I was one of the people, if not the person, that got him to start, adding care instructions to his mask.
Oh, that's a great story.
Fast forward to when I was 21 and moved to Hollywood and was going to start my career best I could. The first thing I did is I went to Don Post Studios. And Don Post was gone by then. But his son was there, Don Post Jr. And I said, "Hi, Mr. Post." He said, "Call me Don." Mr. Post was my dad. I said, "Well, I really loved your dad. I wrote letters." And, he said, "I remember." I went, really? Because his dad had written to me that I was his #1 fan, and he was just so kind to me. And I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to sweep the floors or anything to work here. And he said, well, I think you're overqualified for that, but you could try to make a mask if you want. I said, you're kidding. I could make a mask for Don Post. He said, well, no, kid, you could try to make one. We'll look at it, we'll review it. I said, okay, what do I do? And he looked at me and kind of rolled his eyes. I said, come with me. And he took me into the back of the studio, and he pulled out a big plaster form, an armature. It was in the shape of a head. And he gave me 3 blocks of Roma plastilina clay, a couple of tools, said, here's, do this, do that, give me some instructions. And I went home and I worked on this mask. And I mean, it was like a dream come true. I was a young,
within
21, maybe 20, 21. Okay. So I brought the mask back to him. And I thought, oh, what are they going to do? He called the entire crew together in a boardroom. They looked at it and they critiqued it. They said, well, the wrinkles have to be this way because they need to stretch to allow the head to fit under the head of it. They can't be so deep. You've got to rough them, you've got to smooth them out a bit, because if they're deep, each cast we take sharpens those lines, and pretty soon my technician will be shredding his hands. Yeah. And they gave me a critique. And he said, do you want us to take it from here, or do you want to try again? I said, I'll go do your notes. And I went, took it back, submitted it, they accepted it, and that mask was in their roster for a couple of years in their catalog. And that mask was this one.
That's the one. It's hard to see here.
There was a head growing out of a head. And I brought it to John Post, and I said, I call him Johnson & Johnson. He said, we're going to get sued. So he was schizoid. And, yeah, I sort of submitted some more ideas and things, but he had, he was being very generous to me. He had a crew of artists. He had a staff of people that did that. So he was just being kind to a kid and making a dream come true. And I hope, that's what the people in our genre tend to do. If you want to talk about Guillermo del Toro today, he's such a supporter of talented people. People I know, Chris Grimley and Jovanka Vukovic, who's incredibly talented people who are going to be on our radar because they're on his radar. And he's a major supporter of talented young artists, and there's lots of people out there like that, and you don't find that in a lot of other hobbies.
No, a lot of really encouraging. Yeah, I could see it. What about your movie? Didn't you have a movie, Red? I made
a movie called Red Velvet about a few years ago, 5 years ago now, I think. It was a real great experience. It was really a trial by fire. I didn't know how much, I'd studied my whole life, and done as much work as I could with people to be able to take advantage of an opportunity like that. But I didn't know, when somebody throws $2.5 million down and rolls of super 35 millimeter film, you suddenly go, But I had my trial by fire and my filmmaking education from dabbling and holding a boom mic and doing some prosthetic makeups and doing some performance to actually having to produce something. So I started by having to do a rewrite on the script, which was a great educational experience.
Who wrote the original script?
And Anthony Burns, a young writer named Anthony Burns, who's doing work now. But we chose that script, and my caveat was I wanted it to be a little, it's a perfectly viable script, but I wanted to see if we could make it a little more complex in a way, structurally complex. So he was kind enough to let me do what I wanted to it. I think I achieved a feat in my mind of marrying the two scenarios that are going on at once together in a way that works. Then we cast it. I hired my production designer and best friend, John Goss, who designed with me. And it was heaven. Sitting in that art studio for 3 months and planning, and then, while producers cast, and then getting on set with friends and watching the whole process go. I learned a couple things. I learned that I knew a lot more about filmmaking than I thought I did. I learned a lot about collaboration. I learned a lot about being hands-on, or at least engaged in every single department you could be, in order to give the best possibility for a cohesive, collaborative result. And when I get my next opportunity, it's going to have benefited me. I think anything I get to make, and I do have plans and support to do something next year, I think anything that I generate is going to be at least 70% better than it would have been if I'd done it, 10 years ago. So that's great.
That's great. Great experience for you. So what ended up happening with that film? Did you, was it in any?
That film, we took it to some festivals. We took it to some festivals. We took it to some genre shows. It never really got its chance to be distributed. The company went under after a while, and we were in the midst of trying to make it happen when that happened. So it kind of got the legs taken out of it, from under it. It's still available on Amazon. I think you can get it in Blu-ray or.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's called Red Velvet.
Velvet, directed by Joe Moe.
No, directed by Bruce Dixon, friend of mine, and signed by co-written, by me and Anthony Burns. Art designed, production designed or art directed by John Goss and I. And, I had to edit at the end of the day, and we had to do all kinds of jobs, and we just learned. You learn a lot about what you're good at, and you learn a lot about what you should let someone else do. Sure.
Well, I felt that way with my book. Like I self-published a book 3 years ago, and I wanted to do everything myself to learn what I would hire out to the next time, what I would pay for it, because everything just seems like so much. And I just thought I could do that myself. But, there's some things like editing that I would never do again. So it was a good learning experience. That's the most I can relate to what you're talking about. But I did speak with Drew Waters last night on Tinseltown about a film that's coming out this weekend called New Life, and he did the writing and the directing and editing and just so much work on that film. And it sounds a lot like that was his baby for like 5 years. Of all those different parts that he cast it, and he put so much effort into it. It was his story idea. And so it's exciting to see it coming out and hearing these stories from behind the scenes and what you can learn. And I love that. 70% better than if you didn't do that.
I think so. And you know what?
New ads to our.
I can say I wasn't privileged and wasn't born into a lot of money and went to film school, but I was privileged to get a chance to live with Forey Ackerman and to be around all of these amazing people and to make this film. It is, the best education I can imagine. It's really, really helped me to be a lot better at a lot of things and to understand things a lot better. And, the one thing I can pass on to my friends out there, and truly genre fans are primarily creative people. They either are incredibly astute film fans, or they're wannabe filmmakers, or they are filmmakers, or they're writers or artists. It's not like the hobby of stamp collecting or coin collecting. People aren't minting coins or printing stamps. But in the horror genre in particular, everybody's trying to make something and contribute and tell a story. Right. And the thing I can pass on, some of the wisdom I learned from some of my mentors, in this case, my mentor at the Academy for New Musical Theater, Elise Dewsbury, is how to accept criticism and how much it can help you be better than you can be alone. And she always told me there are three kinds of criticism. There's the kind of criticism where somebody says, did you think of doing this? And you go, I never thought of that. That's a good idea. And there's the kind of criticism where somebody says, I don't think they do that. And you go, I didn't get away with it. I kind of thought, And then there's the kind of criticism that Uncle Bill gives, like, you sit there going, did you sleep through it? But the point is, it's all important because you don't have to accept anything you don't want to. Mm-hmm. Take it all. Take what works for you. Discard what doesn't. But take it all willingly and take as much of it as you can. I have had some of the best criticism about screenplays from a 16-year-old kid who picked it up off my table and was thumbing through it and said, how does this guy who's 16 like me know what Chinese money looks like? And I went, I don't know. You shouldn't. You never know where the gems are going to come from. Mm-hmm. And the final bit of advice is your screenplay is never going to say, by Joe Moe with 50 really good ideas from Melissa. It's all you. So don't be afraid of criticism. Encourage it, welcome it, take it on board, throw it out. Even if you're like me and you have to get defensive, just don't get so defensive that you can't hear it and that people won't tell it to you. Then you walk away and you come back later and you go, yeah, you were right, with your tail between your legs, like I do, Wait a minute, because these are your babies. You're going to defend them, and you're going to, but try to be able to absorb as much as you can. You're not bound by any of it. And the piece that you do accept may be the salvation, may be the solution to a problem. So that's my main advice as an old man talking to lots of these young, incredible people who are so talented and like me, who are finding their education and their opportunities by their sheer force of will and by the skin of their teeth and by sticking their foot in doorways. That's some of the best advice I can think of giving.
That is some really wonderful advice. And I see Cindy's nodding her head. And yeah, definitely. I just love your wisdom and where it comes from the heart. And you're
from Hard Knocks.
Yes, from Hard Knocks and the experience. This man knows what he's talking about. But always a gentle soul and kind and heart of gold. I've known him for almost 30 years. We figured out. And
the alternative is horrible. So we got to be nice to each other.
Yeah, why be evil when you can be nice? So anyway, well, Joe, thank you so much. We've been on for an hour, full Tinseltown tale.
Bravo us.
Oh, thank you.
Our throats are bleeding. Their ears are bleeding. Blood for everyone.
We could talk forever, but you know what? I wanted to give a little tease and say, keep an eye out for both Joe and I on our Facebooks, because I think this weekend there might be some cameos and a little live streaming going on from his big event. And Halloween, you never know what you might see or who you might meet here on Tinseltown Live.
And my last parting words are, don't give out raisins.
Or toothbrushes.
Come on.
You.
Stickers?
The big candy.
Give out the good stuff. Give out the chocolate covered things.
Okay.
No raisins. No lot of none of that.
Any questions, Cindy, before we go? And hi, I see Mark W. here. Welcome, Mark. If you have any questions really quickly before we go and say goodnight. Cindy, did you have any?
No. Thank you for letting me pop on. It's been nice meeting you, Jomo. I love your tales, and I will talk to Melissa, and we'll have to do my homework.
Yeah, we'll have a scare fest or something. Okay, I'm going to move Cindy. I'm going to just do one little fun thing here. Put us side by side. There we go. Now we can, maybe it's this way. So,
look, you are light and I am dark.
I am light. It's, what, I have studio lights now, and so I don't know.
I just let the sun has gone down. All this was natural. Well, not all of it was natural light, but the main source was just light, and it's gotten dark, and that's the way it should be.
Darker, getting darker in here. So the lights went down on me too, but I've got one studio light, and then I've got my candle lights.
Oh, very, very atmospheric.
Going to try to get atmospheric, but you know how it is. So thank you, Joe.
Sure, anytime. Thank you for everybody who listened. I don't know if anybody did, but if you did, it was lovely talking to you. And if you didn't, then what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Everybody's going to be here, and we'll be monitoring the comments, so you might get an answer directly from Joe if you type it in, either on Smile Time, but especially on Facebook Live. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I will see you next week. I've got some exciting interviews coming up every Tuesday night on Tinseltown Live with Ms. Meliz at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, right on Facebook Live. So I just want to say good night to Forey's skeleton head.
Up on the way with Forey J.
Ooh. All right, well, good night, everybody. I have to insert spooky music here. Have a good night. I'm going offline, but we can stay and talk for a few seconds. So
okay, nice talking to you all. Thank you for visiting.
Happy Halloween.
Happiest Halloween, and many, many more. Let's start planning the day after.
Okay.